Hello friends, Steve Macchia here again. We're in week 9 of our journey to a discerning life, an invitation to notice God in everything. And I am in what Ruth describes as the ugliest part of our house. I wanted to show it to you because I'm standing in front of Big Bertha here, which is a brand new oil tank. Did I want to buy a brand new oil tank? No. But for the 80 or so years that this house has been in existence, there was one Big Bertha oil tank, and it began to leak a little bit ago. And so we had to get our oil company in. For those who don't live in the cold Northeast, you have no idea the joy that you are missing of heating your house by oil. But we've got the intake valves here. We've got Big Bertha, several hundred gallons of oil sit in our basement and provide heat for our home during the winter. So it was important that I replace this thing. I couldn't just patch it or forget it because the oil was beginning to fall everywhere, and that's not a pretty sight, nor is it very healthy or very wise. So out the old one went, and in came the new one. And it reminds me of how spiritual discernment, the way in which we're describing it, is pretty radical. It's a radical lifestyle. It requires that we make radical choices. And along the way, it's important for us, if we're to follow Jesus, is that we're willing to make those radical choices, regardless of the consequences, whether it's going to cost us more or require us to give more of ourselves and to the life of another. It's what Jesus did, friends. Jesus sacrificially gave of himself from the moment he began his earthly ministry to the final breath of life on the cross for you and me. You talk about a radical lifestyle. Jesus lived a radical lifestyle, and he invited his disciples, his followers, to do likewise. So why would it be any different for us? We who like comfort, we who like provision, we who like the world looking at us so that we can become bigger and better and bolder and new and next and now and look at me, look at me, look at me. Friends, that's not radical. That's radical self-absorption. It's not radical kingdom living. And when I'm talking about the discerning life, I'm talking about something serious. I care a lot about this topic. And I'm radically transformed from the inside out myself. I have to live this too in the 21st century in wealthy America, trying to figure out how to steward my life and live it obediently and faithfully before God and before others and before my family. And it requires hard choices where you radically need to decide to let go of one and embrace a new. And I think that's Jesus's invitation. And his invitation is to a lifestyle that's counter to our culture, that's counter to our natural intuition, and is counter even to productivity. The very thing that the world values so much is to be productive, be productive, be productive. God is saying, be faithful. Be faithful. Be faithful. Whether you're a big splashing success or not, it doesn't matter, friends. What matters is that you're walking with Jesus. You're living out that radical life with Jesus. And you're making that choice to be a kingdom builder, not a self-absorbed individual. That's a radical choice. And I want to invite you in chapter 9, in week 9, that we're together to pay attention to the invitation that Jesus is inviting you into, is a radical life. So when we talk about the spiritual practices at the end, when we're practicing a preference for God, my favorite definition of spiritual discernment, that simple line, I hope that line is penetrating deeply into the fiber of your being so that you are practicing a preference for God in your life, in your kingdom life, where you are among your peeps, in your setting, in your generation. all for God's glory, all to manifest his presence in you and through you for the sake of his kingdom. So I start with the practice of home. What is the need of your home? What are you discerning about life from your home, as we've practiced looking at my home and the various storylines that I've shared with you? What about your home? And is it a place where Jesus is residing in every aspect of your home? Is that where his heart is? Because that's what he's inviting you to do, is to put your heart into his home. Let your heart be home with him. It's a great place, the best place to be. The second discipline is repatterning. What is it that you need to change about the way in which you're currently living in order to choose the radical, to choose the kingdom decision of living for Jesus? What needs to be repatterned? What needs to be repatterned? And then lastly, what needs to be a yes and what needs to be a no? If 9 times you need to say no before you say yes, what are the preceding no's before there's a meaningful yes? What is a meaningful yes for you, friends? That's an important thing for you to understand. What you say yes to, what you say no to. Jesus invites you into a life of faithfulness, obedience, submission to him, a discerning life where we're noticing him, we're pointing him out, and we're inviting others into a relationship with him, because he will radically transform us from the inside out. That's the goal. That's the heart's desire, is to live the radical, life-transforming, kingdom-minded, Christ-focused life. That is the discerning life. And I'll see you next time.